Coming up on this week's news, the authors of the wiring regulations weighs into the debate over surge protection devices and overcurrent protection. The government issues an urgent alert over the mislabelling of EV charger terminals, and an electrician faces jail over fake timesheets. Welcome to Electrical News Weekly in association with Anker, the world's #1 home solar battery storage, and the SolarBank 3 Pro, the 1200-watt bidirectional energy storage system with 4 MPPTs and 2.68 kilowatt hours capacity. Whether you're listening in the van, on site or down at the wholesale counter, I'm Joe Robinson, and I've been through the best of the electrical industry news to save you the trouble. We're being lit by Flex 7 with their lightning fast pre-wired modular lighting connection system that keeps your installation times razor sharp, and this week's challenge word competition is supported by the good people at Brady. If you need a label, they've got a printer, and so much more. If you think you've spotted the 2 words I've been challenged to slip into this week's show, comment with them below for the chance to win this exclusive cap branded with friends of the show Quickwire and ChumpTools. And while you're there, click the links in the show notes to check out what our sponsors offer. The author of the wiring regulations, the IET, has weighed into the debate over surge protection devices and overcurrent protection. The trade has long been divided over whether home disboards with built-in busbar SPDs and no MCB conform to the wiring regs. It hinges on whether an absence of a circuit breaker in such cases is a departure from the regs. Big switchgear brands also have different opinions, leading to confusion in the market. The IET says the key is that SPDs must be installed in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. So, if a manufacturer requires an external OCPD, this must be installed. Where one isn't required by the manufacturer, you don't have to add one. The IET says this is sometimes because the SPD already has an internal OCPD. The organisation also appears to have settled the issue of the DNO fuse. It says it can be used for short circuit protection provided the conditions set out in February by the Electrical Networks Association and the Manufacturers Association BEMA are met. The conditions are: first, the SPD must be in a household or similar installation. Second, it must be installed inside a single-phase consumer unit conforming to BS 61439-3. Alternatively, it could be in an enclosure with a switch disconnector supplied as a composite unit conforming to BS 60947-3. Both these options should have a rated conditional short-circuit current of 16 kA. This conditional rating is qualified using a 100 amp BS 88-3 fuse, which also covers 60 amp and 80 amp fuse ratings. BS 1361 Type 2 and BS 88-3 FuseLink key performance characteristics are identical. Therefore, either is acceptable. Third, the SPD itself must conform to BS 61643-11. Fourth, the SPD manufacturer's instructions must state that a downstream overcurrent protection device can be omitted and specify the required upstream device characteristics. Fifth, the SPD must not require withdrawal of the DNO cutout fuse for its replacement or maintenance. This position is, says the 2 authorities, in line with the safety aspects of the DNO cutout not providing functional protection. However, it can be relied upon in extreme conditions to perform a short-duration fault-clearing role. The reason they've chosen a conditional rating of 16 kA is because it takes into account possible network changes and increased fault levels over the lifetime of the installation. The IET says that an electrician may choose to install a protective device such as a circuit breaker for ease of inspection, testing and maintenance, but that is their choice in consultation with the manufacturer. However, it could be argued that the device could be inadvertently switched off. The IET also says to note that a circuit breaker in a consumer unit for SPD protection typically has a 6 kA breaking capacity, not 16 kA. For a single-phase domestic supply, the maximum prospective short-circuit current may reach up to 16 kA, where the service cable is at least 2 meters long. Therefore, any consumer unit with an integral SPD OCPD, for instance, a circuit breaker with a rated capacity below 16 kA, must be coordinated with the upstream cutout fuse under the test conditions set out in standard 61439-3 to achieve a 16 kA conditional short circuit rating. I've put a download link to the full IET advisory in the show notes. In other news, the government's product safety watchdog has issued an urgent alert to the trade over the labelling of the popular EZ1 EV charger. Specifically, the Office for Product Safety and Standards says that a batch of the wall-mounted backplate features a terminal that should be clearly marked as PME for protective multiple earthing, but is incorrectly labelled as L3. This incorrect labelling could cause an installer to connect the PME conductor to the standard PE terminal instead of the dedicated PME terminal. This could potentially bypass the charger's built-in pen fault detection and the automatic disconnection function required for UK PME installations. Affected units were placed on sale in the UK between late September 2025 and the 3rd of February 2026. For its part, the Norwegian manufacturer Easy says it's identified affected products using serial numbers and its installer records. Where a mislabeled unit is confirmed to be incorrectly wired and without external pen protection, charging will be temporarily paused until remediation is completed. Where required, corrective actions will include inspection, replacement of the backplate and verification by a qualified electrician. I'll put a link to Easy's installer support should you have concerns about an installation. And now it's over to Joe Hammond with a huge announcement. It's the winners of this year's eFIXX 30 Under 30 Awards.
The future of the electrical industry is not coming, it's already here. After hundreds of nominations, hours of judging and some genuinely ridiculous levels of talent, we can finally reveal the eFIXX 30 Under 30 winners for 2026. A huge thank you to our sponsors. Without their support, this celebration of talent simply would not happen. Right, no more teasing. Here are your eFIXX 30 Under 30 winners for 2026. Sean McLaughlin, Ellis Stevenson, Luke Freeman, Demi Whitehead, Nathan Hollis, Sheldon Fieldhouse, Hasib Malik, Josh Finch, Curtis Whittle, Ollie Ford, Peter McCann, Adam Davies, Matthew Smallman, Johnny Goff, India Ward, Tyler Williams, Marley Brown, Ekin Rains, Mia Goodall, Jordan Hudson, Luke Courtney, Gerard Cullen, Jamie McDonald, Alex Rendell, Zachary Quinn, Alfie Nixon, Charlie Fanson, Benham Zari, Karam Singh and Katie Firth. Massive congratulations to every single winner, and finally a huge thank you to everyone who entered, everyone who nominated someone and everyone backing talent in our electrical industry.
Huge congratulations to all of our winners. We're so proud to be involved in this process. Now, back to our regular programming. In the courts this week, a Dundee electrician is facing a jail sentence after admitting to faking timesheets. 43-year-old Mark Robertson appeared at Dundee Sheriff Court where he admitted carrying out a deliberate scheme over several weeks in which he submitted false timesheets claiming payment for work he had not completed. Court papers showed Robertson had been working as an electrician on contract when he began submitting inflated and fabricated hours. Even after the project had ended, he continued to send in timesheets, effectively keeping himself on the payroll. Robertson admits to fraudulently obtaining £16,500 from the engineering agency Vital Resources. The court heard that Robertson's offending took place during a difficult period in his life. His defence lawyer said contributing factors included a cocaine addiction and mounting personal financial problems. However, the sheriff was told the offending was not a one-off lapse in judgment, but a repeated and calculated deception over an extended period. The court heard that the workplace system relied heavily on trust in submitted timesheets. Robertson pleaded guilty to the fraud charge and was told he will face sentencing in December. In education news, we at eFIXX have introduced new group accounts for our CPD learning material. This will help contracting and other businesses manage their team's continuing professional development. You can track progress and keep training certificates organised in one place. The feature's been developed in response to requests from larger employers who wanted a more efficient way to coordinate CPD activity for multiple employees. Group accounts are available free of charge to employers with 3 or more team members. Using the account, a company moderator can invite employees, recommend modules and track individual progress. They can also identify team members who may need a nudge to complete their training. CPD modules are recognised as an essential part of maintaining professional competence in the electrical industry. It's also increasingly expected by bodies such as the NIC, EIC and NAPIT. Over the last 5 years, eFIXX has pioneered the use of video-based CPD programs. Every year we award over 45,000 CPD certificates across more than 50 CPD modules. Module topics include RCD types, PAT testing and our most recent one on Amendment 4. Employers can apply for a free group account by visiting eFIXX Training Central and completing the request form. The link is, as ever, in the show notes. Still on training, DocStore has teamed up with Tesla to introduce a course specifically on Amendment 4 to the wiring regs. It kicked off last week across 4 wholesaler branches with over 100 delegates participating. The course carries the eFIXX CPD accreditation, providing delegates with 6 hours of recognised continuing professional development. Early feedback is highly positive, with 97% of learners rating it as good or excellent. The programme is set to roll out nationwide, so keep an eye out for dates in your region. In product news, ChumpFix is promoting its innovative device as a solution for tricky pull cord installations. If you're not familiar with it, ChumpFix is basically a clever piece of perforated plastic. You push it up through a 25mm hole, usually the same one for the cable, and then flatten it by pulling the handle. You then screw through the plaster to reach one of its many holes. This secures it nicely to the plasterboard. It means you don't have to use wall plugs, and it helps to spread the weight of the accessory across the ceiling. It also minimises the risk of plasterboard failure caused by drilling near the edges. It comes in two sizes, 12 and 25 centimetres. The company says it really comes into its own for ceiling mounted pull cords. This can be a tricky task as the cords take a lot of punishment. However, the ChumpFix spreads the load across the plasterboard to make for a much more robust installation. I've put a link in the show notes to some videos that Gary's made about all the things that you can do with ChumpFix. Megaman is about to unveil a super innovative addition to its Exchange range. The acclaimed Exchange range is a series of LED light sources which you use to replace traditional lamps such as the 2D fluorescent lamp. Instead of replacing an entire fitting at end of life or when requirements change, you simply replace the Exchange light source module. The complete LED module can be replaced in around 10 seconds without tools, rewiring or specialist skills. It's like the old days when you could, change a light bulb. You can also select colour temperature and lumen output and choose modules with different efficacy levels, optical distributions and colour rendering. The new addition, the eFIXX D260, is expandable by simply pulling out 4 flexible LED segments. Genius. So you can use this unit in all brands of bulkheads, including ones with 2D, PL fluorescent and LED sources. Best of all, the eFIXX D260 comes with the new dim link technology included as standard. Dim link enables simple dimming control without the need for expensive separate controllers. Still on sustainability, we need to give a name check here to Marshall Tufflex, the conduit and trunking specialist that's been a pioneer in this area for years. It makes much of its cable management kit from recycled material, much of which comes from PVCU windows. Leading the way is Maxi trunking, manufactured using 100% recycled content, while Mono 10 trunking contains 70%. Across the Sterling range, the Curve Dado trunking is produced with 55% recycled content, the Sterling Curve skirting trunking with 52%, and the Compact trunking with 54%. They're calling on contractors to join this vision by installing PVCU trunking solutions with a minimum of 50% recycled plastic. Also, a heads up that the latest Marshall Tufflex catalogue is at the printers and will be available from the end of the month. The catalogue strengthens its cable management offering with base or metal systems alongside PVCU trunking, conduit, GRP ladder and tray, underfloor solutions and power poles. It also provides product details, recycled content data, sustainability guidance, plus an expanded range of metal tray, ladder and trunking solutions. Technology company Prolojik is redefining the relationship between lighting control and occupied space with Proxima Plus. The smart sensor system enables targeted outcomes without the need for additional controls, networks or wiring. Winner of the Red Dot Design Award 2024, Proxima Plus delivers data collection and building performance monitoring through a modular, scalable platform suited to a wide range of applications. The system monitors environmental conditions, tracks assets, and analyzes space utilization, providing valuable real-time insights in one integrated solution. Combining 3 sensors in a single device, Proxima Plus supports healthier indoor environments while helping improve productivity, occupant comfort, and operational efficiency. Its sleek, discrete design also ensures seamless integration into modern spaces. Key benefits include minimal installation time, real-time feedback, enhanced environmental data, integration capabilities, and royalty-free, license-free operation. Suitable for offices, education, healthcare, and life sciences environments, Proxima Plus helps create smarter, more sustainable buildings focused on performance, well-being, and efficiency. They've also unveiled what it terms its hermit crab approach to sustainability. This is based on the crab's famous reuse of empty shells on a beach. It starts with the company taking back its lighting control modules at the end of their useful life. When they get to the Prolojik factory, engineers expertly disassemble them and inspect the housings to make sure they're in tip-top condition. They then install the latest generation electronics on new printed circuit boards. This approach not only ensures common connection locations, but also enables the retention and reuse of existing cabling infrastructure. After reassembly, products are relabeled and undergo rigorous electrical and functional testing. The LCMs are then packaged into reusable cartons for return to clients. It leads to big cost savings and a big win for the environment. Now, how about this for a bright idea? It's the Paul Russell's Lamp of the Week, and this week we have a retro classic, the reflector lamp. Contrary to popular belief, it didn't go off to die in the 70s, along with mug trees, lava lamps, and men called Brian, whose idea of romance was owning a waterbed. It's back from outer space, and I found one here. Why, I've got this look upon my face. Took me a minute to figure out that was a reference to Gloria Gaynor's disco classic I Will Survive. think scriptwriter Ray's been under a lot of pressure this week. Anyway, unlike the 70s and its profligate ways, this baby is LED. Oh yeah, it delivers the equivalent of an old school incandescent from just 8.5 watts. This one's warm white, the better to chill on a crushed velvet beanbag drinking baby sham, and it has a lifetime of 15,000 hours, about the length of a James Last Greatest Hits triple album, including the applause between the tracks. Whew, all that makes me really glad that I was born in the 80s. Now, it's that great moment where we get to celebrate the sterling work being done by the next generation. Our Learner of the Week slot is brought to you by XS Training with their online electrical courses for beginners and experienced sparks covering inspection and testing, solar, battery storage, EV charging and their specialism NVQs and AM2 online prep. And our learner this week is Jack Hobson. Jack's a level 2er at Dudley College of Technology. Nominator Josh Dawler says he's a very ambitious lad who's passed all his Level 2 online exams and is due to take his practical soon. He's active on LinkedIn and is using eFIXX videos and resources to support his knowledge development. It doesn't get much better than a recommendation from the people who see someone day in, day out. So thank you, Josh, for taking the time to nominate. If you're looking to break into the industry, we can help. eFIXX has set up a dedicated LinkedIn group for people training in electrical installation. It's aimed at apprentices, full-time learners and adults training in the evening. Just log on to LinkedIn and search for UK Electrician apprenticeships and career support. I'll also put a link in the show notes. If you're an employer looking to offer work experience or an electrical apprenticeship, we can help too. Just reach out to the team at eFIXX and we'll do our best to connect you with motivated learners in your area. We've actually had a great opportunity come in for any aspiring spark looking for a bit of sunshine with their apprenticeship. An established electrical company based in Limassol, Cyprus, run by a team originally from the UK, has reached out to eFIXX looking for a young person from the UK to join them as an apprentice electrician. The role includes full training, 1 day a week at college and a pathway to gaining an electrician's licence qualification in Cyprus. And before you ask, yes, Cyprus uses the British electrical system and works to BS 7671 regulations, so the skills and standards will feel very familiar. So if you fancy starting your electrical career while living in the Mediterranean, this could be a fantastic opportunity. If you're interested, get in touch with us at eFIXX and we'll pass your details on. And now, to the lighter side of the electrical news. Yes, it's time for a Teabreak with Quickwire and its range of incredibly rapid electrical connectors. An electrician from Burgess Hill has built his own working Formula 1 car. Kevin Thomas's car is track compliant, meaning he could actually take part in a race. He didn't build it 100% from scratch though. He discovered the mangled carbon fibre wreck at an auction following the collapse of the Caterham F1 team. It had been in a high-speed crash in 2004. Thomas dedicated 10 years to rebuilding it. The best bit was adding an exhaust system that gives the screaming sound of original Formula 1 cars. For that, says Kevin, all the hard work was worth it. Congratulations, it looks like a more complicated build than a disc board, to be fair. That's the lighter side of the news in our Teabreak with Quickwire and their range of incredibly rapid electrical connectors. Click the link in the description to check them out for yourself. Now it's over to the John Motson of the electrical industry. It's Joe 2.0 with all the latest news from our Fantasy Football League.
Game week 37 is nearly over and we're now heading into the final game week of the season. Plenty of managers will be delighted with how their teams have performed so far, with lots of the big hitters delivering serious points. People who kept faith in Aston Villa assets will be especially happy after their huge performance against Liverpool. There are still points to come though, especially for managers holding Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea players. And at the very top of the eFIXX Fantasy League, Dave Thomas has opened up a bit of daylight. Surely it'll be almost impossible to catch him now heading into the final week. Although this is fantasy football and stranger things have definitely happened. Let's get into it. The Marshall Tufflex Team of the Week goes to Eze Milan, managed by Josh Tomlinson. Josh played the triple captainship to perfection this week, backing Ollie Watkins, and what a call that turned out to be. 2 goals and an assist meant Watkins delivered a massive 45 points from one player alone. When you add in strong returns from Morgan Rogers and Van Dijk, Josh is already sitting on a huge score, with 5 players still left to play. This one could get very scary by the end of the game week. Next up, the Fusebox Flyer of the Week goes to Major League Soccer, managed by Reese Kern. Reese made good use of the bench boost, and while the bench itself didn't explode with points, his starting 11 more than made up for it. He's already on 65 points, with returns coming from almost every area on the pitch, including Watkins, Darlow and Bruno Fernandes. Reese still has 6 players left to play, including his captain, so this score is almost certainly heading much higher. Now for the EV Box Defence of the Week, which goes to Dion Lloyd. With the game week still ongoing, it's difficult to crown an outright winner so far, but Dion's defence is the one to beat. A huge 26 points from 2 players players alone, both of whom scored this week. Van Dijk bagged 2 against Villa, while Robinson added another 1 against Wolves. When your defenders are outscoring your attackers, you know it's been a good week. Finally, it's time for the TIS Transfer of the Week. As we head into the final game week, motivation becomes absolutely massive. Teams fighting for titles, survival or Europe are the ones worth targeting. So this week, I'm going with Jared Bowen. West Ham are still right in the danger zone, and depending on the Spurs result tonight, could still pull off a dramatic escape. If they need a big final day performance, Bowen always seems to be at the centre of everything. Could be the perfect end of season differential. That's the highlights from game week 37 in the eFIXX Fantasy League so far. Huge thanks to our brand partners for backing the fun every week, and don't forget to enter the draw for the Nippex Tool of the Week. The link's in the description. Until next time, may your captains actually play, may your benches be stacked, and may Leeds continue to disappoint Rick.
Thanks for that update, Joe. Speaking of football, a reminder that Schneider has unveiled the 2026 version of its hugely popular Score to Win promotion. In this exciting new game, installers must beat the keeper from the penalty spot as many times as they can to win points. And what do points mean? Prizes, of course. This year there are Premier League hospitality tickets up for grabs, as well as signed football shirts. Simply spend a minimum of £250 on Schneider Electric products in one transaction at any participating wholesaler. You'll then be given the opportunity to play a virtual game of skill involving kicking a football into a goal. There'll even be a public leaderboard so you can see how your mates are doing. I'll put a link to the terms and conditions in the show notes. Now, just before we get to your favourite bit of the show where I reveal last week's challenge words and winners, we want to thank our premium partners. We couldn't make the news without you. First up, Ledvance. Your vision, their light, celebrating 10 years and 100 years of experience. One of our favourite new innovations here at eFIXX, especially now it's in sexy new packaging. For rock-solid fixings in flimsy materials, don't just fix it when you can ChumpFix it. And the best thing to come out of Yorkshire since stainless steel, the home of EV Ultra and other groundbreaking and quality products, it's Doncaster Cables. Click the links in the show notes to find out more about these great brands. If you think you know the words that I've smuggled into this week's show, pop your guess into the comments. We'll take all the correct guesses and select one at random to be the winner of an eFIXX goodie bag prize. Answers submitted after midnight on the Wednesday after release will not be entered into the draw. Now let's reveal the winners of last week's challenge word competition as sponsored by Brady. Remember, if you need a label, they've got a printer and so much more. Click the link in the description to view their incredible range. Last week's words were archetypal and cedarwood. And the first person to be plucked from our electronic hat, he's only gone and done it again, it's Jason FKM5MQ. Very few people getting it right last week. Hopefully they're a little more obvious this week. Hint, they're in the same segment for once. Anyway, well done, Jason. Make sure you click the Get Involved link in the show notes to claim your prize. And now it's time for this week's weather from Joe 3PO and Foxy SS.
Last week brought the kind of weather only the UK could produce. 1 minute, blazing sunshine and brilliant solar generation. The next minute, someone's wheelie bin is taking off down the road. Well, before we get into this week's forecast, a big thanks to Effective Eco Limited with this install that was in Solihull, Birmingham. And did you know that Birmingham has a more extensive canal network than Venice? Don't know why you'd want to know that, but now you do. Okay, so now this week is definitely a tale of two halves. A bit unsettled across northern and western areas with cloud, outbreaks of rain and cooler conditions hanging around. Not great if you enjoy opening your solar app and boring your friends, which you probably don't have. Further south and east though, things should begin improving through the afternoon with brighter skies developing and generation gradually picking up. By Wednesday and Thursday though, high pressure starts building in properly, and this is where things get much better for solar owners across England and Wales. Longer sunny spells, lighter winds and warmer temperatures should help boost generation nicely, especially across the southeast, East Anglia and parts of the Midlands where sunshine totals are looking strongest. Further north and west, there will still be some decent brighter spells, but also more cloud around at times, with the odd shower still drifting through. Heading into Friday and the weekend, settled conditions look likely to continue for many areas, with more sunshine and temperatures climbing again. So overall, after a slightly scrappy start, the second half of the week is looking far more promising for solar generation.
Thanks for that update, Joe. This week we've been lit by Flex 7 with their lightning fast pre-wired modular lighting connection system that keeps your installation times razor sharp. Don't forget to click the links in the show notes to find out more. Thanks for listening to this episode of Electrical News Weekly in association with Anker Solix, the world's #1 plug-and-play solar battery storage brand. Make sure you subscribe to receive the next update. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great week. Stay safe out there, and remember, there's no such thing as a torque calibrated arm.